At the start of the year, did you resolve to get more done? Poor productivity can have negative consequences, including longer work days. It can impact your company's bottom line. And with tax season coming, for crying out loud, getting organized can help you save time and money. But which triggers lead to decreased productivity? A new survey sheds light on that. With those results, the productivity pro Laura Stack. Good morning.
Good morning, Mary. Thank you so much for having me.
It's good to see you. This is your field. And so I want to start with poor workplace productivity. Why is that worth a close look for all of us, even if we don't own a business?
It's huge, Mary. You know, you can spend far too much time at work due to inefficiencies. I see people working 50, 60, 70, 80-hour weeks because they're being unproductive. So the more you can fine-tune that and be more efficient, you can get out of the office a little bit earlier.
All right, so if we're looking at this new year, what are some of the more general tips where you'd say these apply to most of us?
Well, there's a great study that was just put out by Fellows, the Workplace Productivity Survey, and it talked about how workers said 2 hours a day were wasted due to disruptions. So we have to take a look at some of those things. A third of people said that they had problems with office equipment, and only half of the people surveyed said that they felt very productive during the day. So there were definitely some gaps that we saw from this study.
Okay, so as employees, there are some of those things we can affect, but what do you do if it's a matter of equipment? You send word up the chain, we've got an issue, but then it takes time to have that resolved. What can you do about it?
Well, most people just kind of suffer through it. I think you definitely need to talk to your leadership when you're experiencing challenges. If your laptop is slow, if your printer is having problems, if your shredder jams, you know, you really need to ask for what you need. I would recommend Fellows. They have a great Automax 200C that I love. You just load the paper in there, push the button, and walk away. So you've got to figure out, what do I need to help myself be more productive, and advocate for yourself. I got to ask for what I want.
Something like that with tax season coming, so you're not concerned about criminals getting a hold of your personal information when you get all those forms and documents into use. But what about productivity as you're getting ready for the middle of April? What can you do to make sure you've got your ducks in a row?
That's a huge problem. You know, people aren't very careful sometimes about tossing sensitive, confidential information. I would recommend not putting anything like that in the trash. Use the shredder I mentioned before, and especially things that are older than 7 years, you don't need to keep that around. But start now. The real key is, I think people wait far too long to start gathering some of those receipts and making sure that they have everything that they need to be ready for tax time.
Your new book, Doing the Right Things Right, I see it over your shoulder there. It'll be available, I read, later on this month. What is the focus with that book compared to some of the work you've done before?
Thank you. Yes, this is my 7th productivity book, and I'm looking at how do leaders actually spend their time both effectively and efficiently. How do we make sure that we're working on the right things, and then how do we make sure that we're doing them right? In other words, spending the least amount of time, cost, and effort. It's really when both of those things are present that leaders work at their productive best.
Is there one website, Laura, where you'd send our viewers if they'd like to, maybe they're inspired by this conversation, they want to get some more ideas online?
Sure. Well, anywhere books are sold, they can get the book, or I'm at theproductivitypro.com. And of course, fellows.com is a great resource for that shredder that I mentioned that's on sale this week at staples.com.
Laura Stack, thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it.